Dusty Smith's a YouTuber I watch regularly. He's the kind of person whose videos I seldom 100% agree with, but I find the presentation of his points to be entertaining and colorful enough to be curious to what he has to say when he decides to upload something. Sometimes I think he hits the nail right on the head, and sometimes I think he uses a jackhammer to do the job and causes more collateral damage than anything else. I don't like that he calls himself the people's atheist. He's not my atheist. Nor do I like that he signs off his videos with the word logic, as if everything he says and does is demonstrably logical. Anyone can throw a positive noun at the end of their presentation, but that doesn't mean that they've demonstrated those qualities throughout. I'd love to see a student put the word quality at the end of his PowerPoint or essay just to remind the people scoring it how grand of a job he did. I'm also not fond of how Dusty tends to deal with reasonable criticism against his points. When proven wrong on multiple points, I've usually seen him backpedal dishonestly, like saying an entire sincere video was really just satire, or just insist that he must be right, that the people making criticisms against him are just obsessed haters whose videos he didn't even bother to watch before posting them on his Facebook page so that he can listen to all of his fans assure him how right he is and how awesome he is. And I only bring that up because I'm confident that the same will happen here, and if it does, called it. So, Dusty, hopefully now you'll actually listen to what I have to say. I take particular issue with your most recent video called Eating Grass for Jesus, which is linked below. In the video, you state, if you need any more proof that Christianity is a mental illness, they're eating the fucking grass, y'all. Now, eating grass from the ground because your church leader told you to do so is certainly evidence of irrational behavior. But being motivated to do something extreme or irrational does not mean you have a mental illness. It only means you've been duped. People can psych themselves up to drive their hands through several layers of concrete or kick through solid wooden boards. Coaches get their athletes psyched up to perform on a significantly higher physical level than they would have otherwise. None of these people have mental illnesses. They've just been psyched up to do something that they may have not done or have done to the same degree if they hadn't been psyched up to do them. The same is true for the people who break down into tears in church or talk in tongues or dance wildly. They aren't mentally ill. They're just indoctrinated, brainwashed, and have been worked into a frenzied state where they are no longer thinking logically or calmly on a topic which they usually didn't grant much skepticism as it was. Now imagine a time in your life when something got you really pissed off. You were fuming mad to the point where you were breathing heavily. Maybe you raised your voice, clenched your teeth, or had to hit something to vent your anger. Whatever happened brought you to a different state than you were when you were of sound mind, and it coaxed you into behaving in a way that you would not behave when calm and collected. Behaving in an emotionally charged manner is not the same as being mentally ill. Now, you go on to say that they behave like mindless drug addicts, and it's fair to make the comparison of behaviors to point out the silliness, because you don't literally call them drug addicts. You're making a metaphor. You're speaking figuratively in that case. You did literally say that Christianity is a mental illness. And here's the kicker, Dusty. You know that these people are tricked rather than mentally ill. And you acknowledged it at the end of the exact same video. You state, they will realize eventually that they're in nothing more than a cult, and when that happens, I want to welcome all my South African brothers and sisters. I know that you were fooled into being in this cult by the con man, but don't sweat it. A mental illness isn't something that just goes away because you change your position on a single topic. When I was a Christian, I did hold an irrational and unjustifiable set of beliefs, mostly due to the societal indoctrination I had to purge myself of. That doesn't mean I was mentally ill, just like you weren't mentally ill when you were a Christian, and then suddenly became cured, or as you word it, untarded, by changing your mind about that one belief. A psychotic or otherwise mentally impaired person cannot change his or her mind on an issue and instantly become a person of sound mind with no such issues, which pretty clearly distinguishes having a religion apart from having a mental illness. And you admit it in the very same video as you insisted you were presenting knockout proof of the opposite. For the GI channel, I am nobody's atheist, grappling ignorance. Logic.